Hi, a long time no see. I haven't done a video like this in a while. Actually, I haven't done a video in a while in general. But I was thinking about it today, and I kind of just wanted to talk about some of my favorite reads. Do like an updated version because I've already done one of these before. And yeah, this is balanced on like 3 different books because I don't have a proper setup. But here we go. I'm gonna split this video into like 2 parts, I think. First part will be like mangas and stuff like that. And then the second part I'll do more Western YA, sci-fi fantasy type stuff. Am I in the center? Okay. I'm also trying not to raise my voice too much because I don't want other people in the house to come in and be like, what are you doing? But yeah, hopefully there's no noise from outside. Hopefully my voice can be heard, but yeah, let's go part 1. Let's do the manga stuff first. I've put all of my favorite copies that I own in like an alphabetical type order, but there's also like I think one that I don't own any copies of, but I still wanted to talk about, so I'll like put a picture in or try to. I've never done that before. But yeah, let's go alphabetical order. So number 1, Attack on Titan. I don't know if I'll need to like flip this so you can read what it says, but this is the Attack on Titan first volume copy. That's the Colossal Titan, and that's the main character, Eren. So basically, Attack on Titan is a manga that is honestly one of the best pieces of written, even like animated. It's one of the best pieces of fiction that I have ever read, ever seen, consumed in my life. The story, the depth of like, it's just so incredible because you think it's incredible the first time that you watch or read it, and then you read it again and you start noticing things that you wouldn't have noticed the first time that you watched it or read it. It's just incredible. The author of Attack on Titan is Hajime Isayama. There you go. Basically, to give you kind of a synopsis of the beginning, because I don't want to give away too many spoilers for anyone who wants to read it. Basically, it's set in this nation, and in this nation it's like the remains of mankind, like the last remnants of mankind, and they're in this like city with 3 different walls, right? So there's an outer wall, and then there's an inner one, and then there's the innermost wall. And basically they're trapped in these walls essentially because on the outside these creatures roam, and these creatures are called titans, and they're like really big. Obviously titans, you know, this is one of them. People don't know where they came from, they don't know why they're trying to kill humankind, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's how it starts. And the main character is this guy. His name is Eren, and he's very cool, and it's focused around his story and his friends and his journey with these titans. Attack on Titan, you know. I'm gonna try to be kind of quick with these because if I stay here and ramble about every one of these, this video will be over an hour long, and I already feel like it's gonna be that long anyways because I'm a yapper. But yeah, that's the first book. So the second one, which I don't have any like official volumes of the official series with, is Bungo Stray Dogs. I have a volume of one of the spin-off series, and I have one of the light novels. So Bungo Stray Dogs, I have a copy of Beast, which is one of the spin-off series where 2 of the characters, the main character and another character called Akutagawa, this guy, they swap roles. So in the main series, Akutagawa is in the Port Mafia, and in Beast it's swapped, so the other character is at the Port Mafia, and this one takes his place. So basically in the main series, it's set in this world, it's set in Yokohama, Japan, but it's set in a world where some people have these things called abilities, right? And each ability is different. So for example, I don't want to say the main character's ability, but they do reveal it in the first episode, so I feel like it's fine. The main character's ability is to turn into a white tiger. It's called Beast Beneath the Moonlight, right? So he has this ability, and then there's a detective agency called the Armed Detective Agency, and he joins this agency. And he meets a bunch of other people who are like him, they have abilities, all that kind of stuff. There's a guy whose ability is to nullify other abilities. There's a guy who basically there's a bunch of really cool characters. And then this guy, Akutagawa, He's in an organization called the Port Mafia, and in the Port Mafia there's also a bunch of really cool people, like everyone's favorite character, Chuya. Everyone loves Chuya. He's very cool, but I don't want to say too much because his, like, you don't get to meet him until a couple episodes in. But yeah, this is Beast. And then I also have one of the light novels in manga, which is Stormbringer, which is set a couple years before the main series, and it's focused around Chuya. This guy. That's Chuya. So yeah, this is Stormbringer. It's not written as a manga, you know, it's a light novel, so it's all words. There's some illustrations in there, but yeah, Bungo Stray Dogs is very good. I really enjoy the manga, even though I haven't been up to date recently with, like, the most recent chapters. The manga doesn't do the anime doesn't do a very good job at, like, adapting true to the manga, which is a shame because Bones is a very good studio, but I feel like they don't do Bungo justice. But yeah, next is a beloved Demon Slayer. Everyone knows Demon Slayer, everyone loves Demon Slayer. Very good series. One of the, like, I don't know, I feel like if you ask someone what's a good series to watch in recent years, like one of the newer animated ones, they'll tell you Demon Slayer. I don't have the first volume of Demon Slayer, unfortunately. The earliest volume I have is volume 4, which is this one, but this is the main character right here. His name is Tanjiro, Kamada Tanjiro. This is Inosuke, who you will meet a couple of chapters in. Basically, it's set in a world where there's demons, and there's an organization called the Demon Slayers, and they hunt all the demons. Not a lot of, like, regular people believe in the demons, actually, but our main character, Tanjiro, he is the eldest of his siblings. He has a single mother because his dad died a couple years back from a sickness. And basically the first episode starts off with a bang. Like, the first beginning parts of it starts off with a bang. All of his siblings get killed, and his mom, they get killed by a demon, except for his one sister. Her name is Nezuko. She's the second oldest after him, and she gets turned into a demon. And basically this whole series is like his journey trying to find a way to turn her back into human and find the demon that killed his family and, like, get revenge and all that good stuff. And I really like all the friendships in this. It's very cute, very wholesome, but also, like, prepare yourself for some sadness, for some tears, you know, like all good mangas, there's gotta be some emotion in there. The next one is a manga that I also am not up to date on yet. I've read 100-something chapters, and then I keep forgetting to reread. This is Frieren. As a certified Lord of the Rings enjoyer, this reminds me of Lord of the Rings a lot in the, like, fantasy. Also, the music gives Lord of the Rings vibes, kind of. But Frieren is very good. It's set in a fantasy world. It's called, actually, Frieren Beyond Journey's End because it's about Frieren, who is this girl right here. She's an elf, she's a mage, so she lives for a very long time. It's about her life after the end of her journey with all of these guys. So it doesn't even focus on the journey with these guys, it focuses on after their journey, like the companions that she meets, retracing her journey with her old friends, and realizing that she should have gotten to know them better, but because she's an elf, the, like, concept of time is skewed to her, so she doesn't realize how much she should have cared until after it's too late. So it's very cute to see, like, her reminiscing on her old journeys with her old companions, with the new companions and stuff. But yeah, it's very nice, very fantasy. I adore this. It's a very, like, feel-good series, you know, like, it just gives you such a warm feeling in your heart. It's very sweet. Okay, the next one is probably my favorite series, favorite anime, favorite manga, like, ever of all time. It's Haikyuu. I love Haikyuu so much. This is the lovely cover. This is our main character, Hinata, and this is his rival slash setter, Kageyama. This is them at the back. So basically, Haikyuu is a volleyball anime, as you can very clearly see. So this guy, Hinata, he's very short, which is not very common in volleyball, and he's a middle blocker, which is a position that you would usually put someone of height in, because you need to jump, you need to block, you need to spike, and he's very short, but he has a spectacular jump. Like, he jumps so high, it's incredible. It basically shows his journey after his defeat. He played a game against Kageyama in middle school, and he lost very spectacularly, so he joins this school called Karasuno, which is where his idol, the reason that he started playing volleyball is because of this one player who went to Karasuno called the Little Giant. So he joins Karasuno to be like the Little Giant. And it turns out that Kageyama has also joined Karasuno. So now they are not only rivals, but they have to be partners. And they have to work together because Kageyama is a setter and Hinata is a spiker. So they have to work together to overcome their difficulties. And you see like the bond of him with all of the other teammates and like the different positions. And I feel like it does a very good job of like highlighting the other teams as well, not just the main team. So like it makes you want to root for the other teams as well, even though Karasuno is our team. It makes you want to root for everyone else as well. Like it's so feel good. It addresses a lot of other issues as well. Like I feel like it places a heavy like emphasis on classism. Like you see the difference between a poorly funded school like their school and then like a private academy like one of the other schools, and like how they were able to persevere in spite of all these differences and stuff. It's just so good. It's such a beautiful manga. And I have the first volume, and then I have the last, they're up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I have the last 7 volumes because the last arcs are my favorite. I love them so much, and I can't wait to see them animated, but it's so good. Okay, and next on the list is Hell's Paradise, which is currently running right now on Sundays, which is today's Sunday, so there's a new episode of this. But Hell's Paradise, I actually went and read this after I watched the first episode of the anime, and I am so glad I did. It's considered to be part of a dark trio with Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man's cover. I love the colors on this. This is one of the main characters. His name is Gabimaru the Holo, and this is the other character. Her name is Sagiri Yamada Asaemon. So she's an executioner, a sword tester, and he is a ninja, a shinobi, criminal. Basically, this is set. It starts off with him in prison, and then Sagiri comes in, and she's like, I can get you a pardon, but you have to go to this island and find the elixir of immortality. That's what the shogun wants. So they go on this island with a bunch of other criminals because like all of them want the pardon. So all of them are sent there, and each criminal has like an accompanying Yamada Asaemon because they're like a clan of executioners. So each criminal has one Yamada Asaemon assigned to them. And you get to see like the strange, bizarre things that are on the island, and like all the monsters and all the weird things, and like it's just so cool. Such a bizarre like interpretation of these monsters and stuff. It's very short as well. It's only like 115-ish maybe chapters. I was convinced they were gonna finish animating it this season, but I think maybe we got one more season ahead of us. But it's very good, very short, but it's cute. It also has some fan family vibes, you know? But there's like a pattern of that. I love the fan family stuff. It's like my favorite thing in media. It's my favorite trope of all time. And then another one of my favorites, Jujutsu Kaisen. I debated getting the copy of JJK 0 because it has my favorite character on the front, but I feel like I should continue the theme of trying to get the first volume. So this is the main character. His name is Itadori Yuji. He's got pink hair, and yeah, that is a face. So Jujutsu Kaisen is completed just like Hell's Paradise, and Haikyuu is also completed. I forgot to say that. Attack on Titan is also completed. Demon Slayer is also completed. I think that's all of them that I have mentioned. Those ones are completed. So JJK is also completed, but the anime is also currently running. New episodes come out every Thursday. So Jujutsu Kaisen is set in a world where there's these people, they're called Jujutsu sorcerers, and they have this thing called Jujutsu energy, right? And they use this energy for techniques or whatever, and they fight curses that are formed by human emotion. So there's curses for various things. There's a hatred curse, well, this kind of curse, it's like a bunch of different curses, and they all have different rankings. And the sorcerers also have rankings from like special grade, which there's only 4 special grades, and then first grade is the next highest out of that, and then second, third, fourth. And obviously the curses are ranked similarly. So this is our main character, Itadori Yuji. Itadori is a regular teenager, but he has a lot of physical strength, which is a bit abnormal, but you'll learn more about him as the series goes on. So basically, it all starts when he's in the occult club at school, and they find this thing wrapped, and then his senpais unwrap it, and it turns out to be a finger. And this finger is actually one of the fingers of history's strongest jujutsu sorcerer, Ryomen Sukuna. He had 4 arms, so that's 20 fingers in total. And in an attempt to save his senpais, he swallows the finger because one of the other people that he meets tells him that like swallowing the finger would give him a great amount of cursed energy, and that's why that other person, Megami Fushiguro, that's why he wants the finger to take it back to his superiors to keep it safe. And so Yuji's like, oh, it'll give me power, so I'll be able to save my friend, so he swallows it. And then the series progresses as he, you know, his journey, because he's sentenced for execution because they're like, oh, he swallowed the finger, we have to kill him because Sukuna is in him now, and Sukuna is very evil. But he manages, this other guy, Gojo Satoru, manages to get him a deal where his execution will be postponed until after he finds all of the 20 fingers and swallows them all, and then they execute him because they'll be killing Sukuna at the same time. So it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. But yeah, very good series. I love JJK, definitely in my tops. The next one is another completed one, also very short, like similar length to House Paradise. It's Kaiju number 8, so I don't have the first volume of this. I only have volume 10 and 11, so this is volume 10. This is one of the very cool characters. The main character of Kaiju number 8 is a guy called Hibino Kafka, or Kafka Hibino in the romantic way. He's 32 years old, which is not an age that you normally see with protagonists in media. It's set in a world where there's kaiju, of course, so you know it automatically gives me Pacific Rim vibes, but there's kaiju and it's set in Japan, and there's a bunch of different divisions of the Japanese armed kaiju defense force, I think is the right acronym for it. But there's a bunch of different divisions and they fight kaijus essentially. So the main character wants to get into one of these divisions. It's been his dream for as long as he can remember, and he made a promise with his childhood best friend that they would be, you know, the strongest, and his childhood best friend is now the captain of the 3rd division. Her name is Mina Ashito. This is not her. But yeah. So in the first episode, I'm trying to only give the synopsis of the first episode. This kaiju, this tiny kaiju finds him and literally goes inside him, and he turns into a kaiju. Kafka turns into a kaiju. He's insanely strong, but like as the series progresses, he's like trying to hide that he's a kaiju from everyone else as he works towards his journey of trying to join the defense force. And he meets this girl who's called Kikoru Shinobi, and she's the daughter of the director of the entire armed force. Like she's his daughter. She's very strong. She's like known to be like the strongest talent or whatever. She's very cool. There's a bunch of other very cool characters like Narumi, although Narumi only comes into play later on in the series. There's Hoshina, who you get to meet pretty on. Reno, who is my favorite character. He's very cool. He works with Kafka initially, and they have a very like cute relationship. It's like I don't know, I like to call Kafka like the dad of like the whole group, because he's 32 and everyone else is like under 20. Like she's 16 and Reno's 18, so it's like, oh, he's like their dad, you know. It's very cute. But yeah, that's Kaiju number 8. And then everyone knows this one, I feel like, as well. This is My Hero Academia, which now the anime and the manga are both completed. But yeah, I don't have volume number 1. I have volume number 2 and number 37, but this is number 2. In this world, everyone has quirks, except for maybe 20% of the population who are quirkless. This guy, this is our main character, Midoriya Izuku, or Izuku Midoriya. He is quirkless. This is his childhood best friend turned enemy, Bakugo Katsuki. So Izuku is quirkless. He gets bullied a lot, blah blah blah. He gets attacked by this monster, and he gets saved by his hero, All Might, who's like the number 1 hero in this world. And he asks All Might if he can be a hero, and All Might kind of says, you know, you don't have a quirk, so no. But then he proves himself. He tries to save Bakugo from another villain, and All Might comes to find him later. He's like, you're a true hero, and what makes a hero is that you moved without thinking. Like, I think you can be a hero. And All Might says that he's going to train him, and he's going to give him his own quirk. So All Might gives this little guy his quirk after training him, and it's like a journey where he tries to get into the top hero school in the country and work towards becoming a hero. And you meet all his classmates and learn as he tries to control his power and learn more about his power. Yeah, very cool, very nice. This one, okay, I haven't finished reading this one because it's very long, but this is Tower of God. This is a webtoon, but I have the first volume of it, so it's all in color. They made an anime of this, but it kind of flopped because I feel like they didn't really try hard enough to make it good. But yeah, this is a webtoon. It has over 600 chapters, and I got 500 chapters in, and then I kind of got a bit tired, but it's such a good story, and I wish the anime did it justice, but it's so good. Season 1 is very good. But currently, I believe in the webtoon, there's 3 seasons, or maybe they're done with season 3 and they're on to season 4, but it's very good. It's basically, there's a tower, right? This tower has a bunch of floors, and people who enter the tower are called regulars, right? They enter the tower and they try and get to the higher floors, and it gets harder to proceed to a higher floor the higher you go. And there's like, you have to sometimes do different, I don't know how to say it. You have to do different things to get to the different floors, and once you get to all the floors, you're no longer a regular, you're no longer a player, you're just like a ranker. That's what they call them. The people who have climbed the tower, they're called rankers. And the rankers have ranks, like they're ranked. There's floor masters as well who are in control of an entire floor. And then there's people who come from outside the tower and come into the tower. Not everyone does that. Normal people live in the tower, but they don't like climb the floors, you know, as a competition. People that come from outside the tower are called irregulars, and there's not that many of them. Our main character, where's the picture of him? This guy. His name's Bam, the 25th Bam. He's an irregular, so he comes into the tower, and he starts climbing it slowly. It's very cool because you get to meet like all the different characters. You get to meet a bunch of rankers, and they're all very cool, and he meets all of these characters. This is Yuri. She's a ranker. This guy is the guy who like guards the front door. This is Rachel. We hate her. This is Kun. He's amazing. He's like our character's basically his best friend, and this is Rak. This is our character's other best friend. They make a trio. I love their little friendship. Also, this guy's voiced by Okamoto Nobuhiko, and I love Okamoto Nobuhiko. But yeah, I also love Yuri, but she's just amazing, and she's the only ranker in this list. I think. I haven't continued, but I don't think any of them have become rankers. But yeah, Tower of God, very good, very nice story. It just has been dragging on for quite a while, so that is the only downside I would say. Okay, the next one is my favorite ongoing manga, because Haikyuu is my favorite of all time, but it's finished, so I can't count it. I also don't have volume 1 of this. I have 6, 7, 8, and 10, but 10 has my favorite cover of the ones that I have, so I picked this one. This is Windbreaker. Look! This is our main character. His name is Sakura Haruka. He has dual-toned hair, and his eyes are heterochromatic, so he has 2 different colored eyes, which has made him the subject of a lot of bullying in his life. But basically, the series starts with him moving to a new town called Makuji. And he moves to this town because he has heard there's a school here called Bofuren, where people fight to get to the top position. Like literally fighting, and he's like, oh, I love fighting, so I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna try to get to the top of everyone that is in this school. And then he meets a bunch of people there, and basically Bofuren, the people at the school, they protect the town from like criminals, from gangs and stuff. They keep them safe. They're like the town's protectors, the windbreaker, so they say. And he meets a bunch of the people from his school, and he's lived a very rough life. Like, he never had friends, he's been alone, he's been like teased, made fun of, bullied really bad. And so it's so heartwarming to see like people tell him that it's okay that he looks different, it doesn't make him any different. It's very, very focused on friendship. Like, it just teaching Haruka that he's okay. And Haruka, no one calls him Haruka, I call him Sakura. Why did I call him Haruka? It's just very cool, very sweet, very heartwarming. These are his 2 best friends. They're like a trio. This is Nire. He's like the information collector who has a very great memory, but he's not very good at fighting. And this is Suo, who makes a lot of sarcastic comments. The first time they met, he literally introduced himself as Leonardo DiCaprio and then proceeded to say that his eye patch seals an ancient Chinese demon into his head, and we know nothing about his backstory. We only recently got Sakura's backstory, actually, in like a couple of chapters ago, which is insane. It's been like 200 chapters and they only just told us Sakura's backstory. But it's so good, so heartwarming, very found family vibes. I love it so much, and I can't wait to see what the author has in store for us in the future. And then the final manga that I have on my list is one that got completed recently, which I need to read the last couple chapters because I only have a couple chapters until I'm up to date. It's Yona of the Dawn. This is the only shoujo on this list because I haven't read any other shoujo ones that are completed. And also I don't own any other copies, but I'm trying to pick my only favorites. If you want a more extensive list, I can give you a more extensive list because there's some other shoujos that I've watched and not read. But yeah, I'm happy to give recommendations if anyone wants them. Just leave a comment and I'll let you know. But this is Yona of the Dawn. This is not the main character. This is her cousin. This is the male lead. His name is Hawk, and he is one of the best male leads in a shoujo I've ever seen. But Yona of the Dawn is centered around this girl called Yona, and she's the princess of this kingdom. And it all starts when this guy, her cousin, kills her dad. And she's forced to run away from the castle with her guard, Hawk. And she sees a side to her kingdom that she's never seen before because she's always been like inside of the castle. She's never explored outside of the castle. She's never gone outside. She's never seen her people. She's never seen all the problems that the people in the country face. So she gets to see the perspective on that, and she meets a bunch of people because like she's apparently the reincarnated version of a king that they had in the very beginning, the Red Dragon or something like that, the Crimson Dragon, something like that. And he had 4 protectors, 4 different dragons: the White Dragon, the Green Dragon, the Blue Dragon, and the Yellow Dragon. So she goes and she meets every single one of these dragons, and they form like a squad of them and Hawk and one other boy. And they explore the kingdom. They learn more about her people. She tries to help them, attempts to, you know, as well get justice for her father, take back her kingdom from this guy. And yeah, that's good. One more that I don't have a manga copy of, which is in my top 3 ongoing mangas right now. I will try and put a picture in if I can figure out how to do that, but it's called Gachiakuta. It's very good, also ongoing. And the anime has 1 season. I forgot to mention Windbreaker has 2 seasons. Yona of the Dawn has 1 season, but they're making a 2nd season soon, which is amazing. But Gachiakuta, basically, the main character is this boy called Rudo. Rudo. And he's always been very attached to things. Like, he doesn't like throwing things away because he feels like they still have a use. And he's always been taught that if you care about an item long enough, it will develop a soul, and that forms the basis of something very important in this series. So basically, in this world, if you care about an item long enough, it'll form a soul. And once it forms a soul, it becomes a vital instrument. And people who wield these vital instruments are called givers. So Rudo gets falsely accused of a crime, and he gets tossed down this pit because they're on something called the sphere. So when he falls down the pit, he ends up on the ground. And on the ground, there's a bunch of givers. Not every person is a giver because you have to have a deep attachment to an object to make it a vital instrument. So he meets a bunch of different givers, all the different organizations, because there's different organizations. There's the cleaners, there's the raiders, there's the Hell Guard. What else is there? I don't remember what else there is. But yeah, he gets to meet a bunch of different people. Again, found family vibes, because that is very important to me, that I emphasize the found family vibes. Yeah, he's also very sweet, very heartwarming little boy, and he just has such a big heart, and he cares so much about these objects and stuff. Yeah, it's very cool. So yeah, now we'll move on to the second part of the video where I will bring all of my mainly Western books, because there's a couple that aren't Western. But yeah. Okay, I have a lot of books Western-wise, and I tried to stray away from putting like common ones like Hunger Games and like Little Women. What else? All the Shadowhunter stuff, because as much as I love those books, I feel like a lot of people talk about them, and I wanted to talk about books that I don't see people talk about as much. Okay, some of these are popular, I will give you that, so don't watch this video and see some of these books and be like, oh, but these books are popular and she just said she wanted to do not popular things. No, I acknowledge some of these are popular, but I just wanted to not be as generic with my pickings, you know? Like, I wanted to emphasize books that I think more people should read. Of course, I love the Hunger Games and Shadowhunter stuff, and I think everyone should read those, but people know about them, you know? If there's noise in the background, it's because I think there's people building on a trolley cart that my mom ordered, so please ignore that. Okay, let's start. I have a lot of books up here and I don't know if they're gonna fall over, but it's fine. Okay, let's start with The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. So this is not the first book in Dan Brown's series. I don't really think it matters which one you start reading first. If you're reading the Robert Langdon ones, which the Robert Langdon ones, there's more than a couple. So basically the Robert Langdon ones are all the ones that have the main character as Robert Langdon, who is a key figure in Dan Brown's books. So Robert Langdon's ones are Angels and Demons, The Da Vinci Code, Lost Symbol, Origin, and Inferno. I don't know if I said it in the right order. There's one more recently that was released that I haven't read yet. I think it's A Secret of Secrets or something along those lines. It's set in Prague. I believe it's set in Prague. But basically, Dan Brown has two other books, Digital Fortress and Deception Point, which are both good, but his Robert Langdon ones are, they just take the crown. Basically, he writes thriller, mystery thrillers, adventure, action. They're all set in 24 hours, different cities around the world, where there's a crisis, and he has to solve the crisis with Robert Langdon, who is a symbologist, and he teaches at Harvard. Oh my god, it's so loud. He teaches at Harvard, Robert Langdon, and he's very smart, obviously. But yeah, it just shows his adventures in these places around the world and like really cool issues. It's just very cool mysteries, kind of unexpected twists. He's very descriptive when he like describes all the cities and stuff like around the world. If you want to visit cities like Rome or Barcelona, like they have tours there that are like the Robert Langdon tours. It's very cool. But yeah, this is just one of them. We have all of them at our home, but all the other copies are upstairs in the family library. This one is downstairs with me because it is my copy. The others are my parents. But yeah, that's this one. The next one I have is Babel. You will see a pattern with R.F. Kuang because I have several of her books because I love her writing. But this is Babel. This is one of her books. It is set in Oxford University. I don't know if there's a map. Let me show you the map because you gotta know. I love maps in books if I can find it. This is a map of Babel. But yeah, Babel. Set in Oxford in 1836. And it is set in Babel, which is Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if it's something she just made up for the story or if this is something in reality. But it is focused around a boy called Robert Swift, who the professor finds him in China. I believe his first language is Cantonese, if I am not wrong. Yeah, he's orphaned in Canton, so his first language is Cantonese, so he comes and lives with this man and then eventually ends up going to Oxford. But basically, in this world, you engrave silver with the words from another language and it gives it power, so that is why translators are very valued. So there's like magic with silver working. And he gets to go to Babel, the school at Oxford, and he meets a bunch of people, like his fellow students who are also translators, and the older students as well. And it's like, I don't know, it feels like it talks about like your connection to your country and the language that you speak and how important it is, and it puts an emphasis on like speaking your mother tongue and stuff like that. But also the point that it tries to make is his name is Robin Swift, but that's not his original name. That's the name that the professor gave him, and not once in the entire book does it mention his original Chinese name. And I feel like it's just such a point to make, you know. But yeah, it's very good. It's not my favorite of R.F. Kuang's books, but it is still very good. I think the only one of her books that I haven't read is Yellowface. But otherwise, very, very good. This is The Martian. This is Matt Damon. So I have this copy, which is actually my dad's copy, but I don't know why it's downstairs with me. But The Martian is a book about a man. I don't remember his name, but it is a man, and he goes on a mission to Mars with the rest of his team, but he ends up getting stranded on Mars while the rest of his team goes back home on Earth. There's like a storm and something, and they think he's dead, and they leave without him. But he ends up trapped on Mars, and so he has to survive on Mars while everyone thinks he's dead, and he has to, I don't know, sustain himself, because obviously the food isn't meant to last that long. So he learns how to, like, he tries to farm on Mars, which that's never been done before. He tries to farm on Mars, and contact Earth and find a way to get off the planet, while also, like, you know, adjusting to be completely alone and stuff. It's just very cool. The movie is very good as well. It has Matt Damon in it. He's this guy, he's the Martian. But the book is also very good. So yeah, highly recommend. And then speaking of R.F. Kuang, I have another one of her books here, and then I have a third one as well. This is Catabasis. This is her most recent release, came out last year. And I have the special edition with like the sprayed edges and everything. It's gorgeous, so pretty. But yeah, this is Catabasis. It is, where is the blurb? I just wanted to look at the blurb. So this is centered around a girl called Alice Law, and she studies at Cambridge University, and her professor dies, her advisor for her PhD, I believe it was. Yeah, and he dies, and she's like, well, he died now, and I can't get like another advisor, like I need him, he's the best. So she sets off on a journey to go to the underworld, to go to hell, Tartarus, to find him and bring him back to life so he can, you know, give her a recommendation. And she ends up being joined by another boy called Peter Murdoch, because the professor is also Peter's advisor, and they end up going on the journey together to the underworld. But yeah, it's very cool. You get to like see them go through all the different circles of hell, like all the different sins and stuff, and it's just so cool. And it's got magic in it because they both study magic, and so there's like diagrams and equations and all that kind of stuff. It's just very, very cool. I love it. It's so cool. And they look at like old records and of Orpheus and Dante, like Dante's Inferno, and they have to get chalk to draw pentagram. It's just such a cool concept. Like, just take a look at this front page. Like, oh, it's so cool. It's just such a good book, and I ate it up when I read it for the first time. Like, it was so good. I need to reread it. It's incredible. Okay, next. This one is a bit hard to summarize. There's two books that are directly related, and I've only read the first one, but my sister has the other one, and I just need to get around to reading it. This is These Violent Delights. It's set in 1926 in Shanghai, and the main character is a girl called Juliet Tsai. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She's the heir to a gang, the Scarlet Gang, okay? And the male lead is a guy called Roman Montagov, and he's the son of her rivals. So as you can see, you know, Juliet and then Montagov, Romeo, Juliet. It's like a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, essentially. It's very cool. I haven't read the second book, but there's a series that comes after it that's like semi-related to it that I have the books for here, and I read that series first actually, so I kind of spoiled myself for what happens in these, but I still do want to read it. But yeah, basically, in this time period, there's a disease that starts happening, or like an illness, and people start dying, and Juliet and Roma have to set aside their differences and investigate what it is that's making this happen. But their gangs are also like against each other at the same time. So yeah, it's very cool, very good. The series that comes after it is this one. It's Foul Lady Fortune, and then the second book is Foul Heart Huntsman. And I've read both of them, but I haven't read the second book for that one. This one is centered around a girl called Rosalind Lang. She is Juliet's cousin. So this is set after that one. When is this set? This is 1931, and this one was 1926, so it's only a couple of years after. But yeah, so basically Rosalind is immortal. She had some experiments done on her, and she became immortal, so she can't die. So anytime she's like cut or something, she just heals again. And she's been sent on a mission to spy on, let me make sure. Her code name is Fortune, but basically it's around that time the Japanese Imperial Army wants to start an invasion of Shanghai. And so she has a mission to infiltrate the foreign society and identify the culprits behind the terror plot before more of her people, the Shanghai people, get killed. And so on her mission, she has to pose as the wife of another spy. His name is Orion. And it's just very cool. It's like they're pretending to be married and they have to investigate and do their mission at the same time. But it's like you can see as the story progresses, they go from like reluctant fake marriage to they genuinely like each other. It's just so cute. And the like words that they use to like refer to each other is just so cute. Like he calls her beloved. It's just very sweet. I love it. It's so cute. Yeah, I just need to read the second book of These Violent Delights. Very bad. Okay, next is a behemoth of a series. But I will be very quick. It's the Grishaverse series, which I have all of the books for. But these three books come first: Shadow and Bone, and then Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. So these are the first books in the series. They are centered around Alina Starkov. And it's in a world where these people called Grisha. They're not a large population, they're just Grisha, and they have different powers. There's some who do wind, some with fire, some with heart-related things, some of them who mend stuff. It's cool, okay? So the main character is a girl called Alina, and she discovers that she is a Grisha, like right at the beginning of the series. And she's a very famous Grisha that they've been waiting on for a long time, the Sun Summoner. Like she summons this light, right? So she gets taken away to the Grisha palace, and she has to learn how to use her powers to take down this like big chunk of the land that's like the Fold. It's called the Fold. It's like this big bunch of darkness that this man called the Darkling put up a really long time ago. And so she has to now learn how to control her power and get rid of this darkness. But it's very cool, and you get to see like her with the other Grisha and all the other Grisha that she meets, and it's just cool. It's so cool. There's a Netflix series as well, but it's good. However, it's not very accurate, and they also discontinued it before it got to the really cool stuff, which is the Six of Crows plot. But yeah, if I put this here, will it cover the screen? So, Six of Crows, as I said, is the best part of the plot. This is Six of Crows. It's a duology, 2 books, that comes after Shadow and Bone. Six of Crows and then Crooked Kingdom. Again, is about 6 people. You can't really see the cover. It's about 6 people, and it's set in another nation. So Shadow and Bone is set in Ravka, which I believe is based off of Russia, if I'm not wrong, or some Eastern European country. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's Russia. Six of Crows is set in the Dutch equivalent of that nation. It's called Kirch. It's about 6 people. Kaz Brecker, who is, I'm not sure how to describe him. They call him Kaz Dirty Hands. So Kaz Brecker, Jasper Fahey, who's very good with guns, Inej Gaffa, who's my favorite, and they call her the Wraith. She's very silent. She's got a lot of swords. And then there's Nina, who's a Grisha, a Heartrender. There's Matthias, who is a Fjerdan. I don't know how much I can say without spoiling. And then there's Wylan, who's the final person. But basically, they go on a mission to rescue Matthias, break him out of a prison called the Ice Court. So it's all about getting him out of that prison, and it's like the most high security prison ever. But yeah, it's very cool, very found family. Six of Crows is found family. Phenomenal. And then there is Year of Scars, which is another duology. This one and Rule of Wolves is a duology that is set after those two, and is focused around a Grisha called Zoya, and the son of the king in Shadow and Bone. His name is Nikolai. It's centered around them too. And yeah, I don't know how much more I could spoil because it's all part of the same series, but I love Zoya and she's very cool, and I love Nikolai. He's very charming. He's so charming. He like makes you swoon. But yeah. Okay, you can see the books. I'm gonna move them here. Okay, next we're getting into sci-fi. This is Sleeping Giants. It is a trilogy. The trilogy is called The Themis Files, and this is the first book in the series. I have all of them in my shelves there. But yeah, this is Sleeping Giants. I love the covers. So cool. And the way it's written is so fascinating. It's written in like, logs and interviews and that kind of thing. Like, it's not written as like a story, it's written in logs and interviews and that kind of thing. Right, so basically, there's this girl called Rose Franklin. She's a doctor, but when she was young, she found a discovery underground. She found a massive metal hand, and all the tests proved that it was something that predates human civilization, right? So she's now leading the investigation on where this thing came from, and there's just a lot of things that you discover, and it's very cool, and you meet a lot of characters. I just love sci-fi stuff. It's incredible. It's hard to describe, but it's so cool. I've never read a book that was written this way before. It's so fascinating. And then maybe one of my favorite, if not my favorite, sci-fi novel series, Three Body Problem. This is another trilogy. This is not originally written in English. It's originally written in Chinese, but I have an English translated copy. It says translated. This has a Netflix series. They changed a lot in the Netflix series, but I still feel like it was pretty good. So basically, it shows you events that take place over several periods of time. Like, it'll show you something in the past and it'll show you something in the present. There's aliens, there's all that kind of stuff. Let me try and describe it. Basically, it focuses around like the present part of it, not the past part of it. This man called Wang Miao, and the Beijing police ask him, he's an engineer, nanotech engineer, they ask him to investigate a bunch of suicides that have happened. And through his investigation, he is led to this virtual world in an online game. And basically the point of this world is to find out the pattern, or like solve the mystery of three bodies, three suns, because it is hard to predict the patterns of three suns. Like, it's literally called the three-body problem. This is a real thing in physics. So this three-body problem links everything together. The people who have died, a conspiracy that spans light years, and there's also an extinction level threat that humanity faces. But yeah, there's 3 books, and I don't know, it's just so good. It can get a bit technical sometimes, so it might be hard to understand if you're not very like sci-fi oriented, but I think it's such a good read, and I think it's so worth it. And honestly, read it and then watch the series. They're both good. Books are better, obviously, but yeah, 3 books, these 3. And I have all of them, and they are phenomenal. And then we return to the same magic kind of vibe of Catabasis and Babel. The Atlas 6 trilogy. There's 3 books: the Atlas 6, Atlas Complex, and Atlas Paradox. I don't know if I said those in the right order, but this is the first book. It's by Olivia Blake. Again, 6 people. Though it is not found family like Six of Crows. These 6 people are kind of at odds with each other, okay? But there's 6 individuals. They're all magicians, and 5 of them have the chance to join a society called the Alexandrian Society. Yes, the Alexandrian Society is in the Alexandria Library that burned down. So they all get an invitation to join the Alexandrian Society, these 6, and they have to live together in one place and study different things and work on a project of their own. And then after a year, I believe, after a year, they have to prove, or like after they would study for a year, and then at the end of the year, only 5 of them join, and 1 of them doesn't join. But yeah, they would fight each other, they'll pick each other's brains, they just pick the most talented people to join the Alexandrian Society. And you get to see, like, because they all have different specialties in magic, like one person will specialize in physical magic, someone else in illusions, someone else in puppets or conjuring or whatever. And you see all of their different perspectives and where they all studied and all of their lives. And it's actually written in the perspective of multiple different characters, not just one. So you get to see like everyone's kind of mind view. But yeah, Atlas 6, very good. And now, probably my favorite book, which I am rereading at the moment, slowly, because it was so good, but it's also so like, it's a hard read in that it's very intense emotionally, and also it has a lot of like heavy content. Like, okay, it's the Poppy War. So I feel like I should preface this by saying that if you do decide to read the Poppy War and you are sensitive to violence or any kind of thing, please check the trigger warnings before you read it, because it is very gruesome. not just violence-wise, just in general. There's a lot of very heavy tones, some mature themes in this book, but it is my favorite trilogy of all time, my favorite book series ever. It's so good. This is the special edition, but I have the like normal trilogy as well because I only bought this one recently, but I had the other ones from before. It's got the sprayed edges and everything. But yes, the Poppy War, it is centered around this girl. Her name is Fang Runin, but she goes by Rin. So she is from a province called Rooster. There's 12 different provinces, all of them named after a different animal from the zodiacs. So she's from Rooster province, and in an attempt to not get married away to a random older man because she's very young, she decides to study for the Keju, which is an exam, and she gets the highest score in her prefecture, and she gets sent to a school, Sinigard, I'm not sure how to pronounce it because I don't have a reference for it. She gets sent to the school, which is the best school, and it's the only one where she would be able to go without paying tuition, so she had to get the highest score. So she goes there, and she studies all different kinds of things that she never knew in her life, and she's the only poor girl there. She's poor and she's dark-skinned, so she sticks out among all these rich, fair-skinned people who have like been studying this kind of stuff their whole lives. They've been like part of society their whole lives. She's the odd one out. Everyone looks down on her except for her friend, which I don't want to say, but you'll meet him later on. And him and Rin are one of the best examples, if not the best example, of a platonic soulmate relationship. Like, they are one of the best friendships I've ever seen in media. They're just so heartwarming, and it just warms your heart. I feel like I've never seen a friendship written so well between them. It is very much a friendship. Okay, I don't want to see anyone shipping these two. Okay, Rin and Kite are soulmates platonically, but it's very good. It is called the Poppy War because a war starts eventually, of course. But she spends like, it just shows you her at school trying to like stay on top of things and how everyone else seems ahead of her and she's behind them all, and she tries to catch up in combat and linguistics and history and language, weapons, all that kind of stuff. Also there's like stuff related to gods and shamanism, and yeah, I believe it's based off of the Japanese invasion of China or something relating along those lines. So it's based off of real life events. It's also written by Arif Kang, if you didn't notice. But yeah, so incredible series, one of my absolute favorites, but please do read the trigger warnings if you plan on reading this and you are easily triggered. I was fine, but not everyone is, so just, take care of yourself. But yeah, that is all I have to say. I'm gonna end this video now. Let me know if you want any more recommendations for specific genres, for movies, even TV shows. I'm a big movie girly. Even animes or other kinds of mangas, because I only did include like my top ones. I didn't include everything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.